What?
Oh, I'm recording. Come on, Hans.
Come on. Do we have to say it again? Do I have to tap the
God.
sign?
We just started, and as soon as we started, Zach laid into me about how I'm supposed to be similar to a plant or something.
And we have and none of that is content now. That was just conversation with my friend. That's worthless. I was just talking to my friend, and it wasn't recorded. What's even the point?
Worthless.
Wow.
I'm worthless. Did you hear that, Aaron?
I didn't say you're
No,
worthless.
that's not what he said.
Called me worthless.
I said talking to you is worthless. If it's not content,
Get your facts straight.
come on, Hans.
Good God.
No, so it's,
Packing hot dogs for the road. This is exactly what the nerds want.
A friend got burned.
I see dead.
okay, guys.
All right.
What?
Guys, I don't want to go out on a limb here too much. I don't want to like conspiracy theorize a bit too much or speculate. We have a responsibility to only ensure that we're sharing accurate information with our listeners.
Of course.
Well,
But when you were watching this, okay, hold on. Stay with me.
I'm with you.
Mind blown. You get to the end, okay? And Bruce Willis shows up at the end. I think this movie might be connected in some way, like some kind of shared universe or something with that Unbreakable movie from like the 1990s. Right? Are you with me on? You think so?
Is the Shyamalan twist that you're an idiot this episode, or
No, Shyamalan twist is I was an idiot the whole time.
that's not a twist. We all knew that.
I see dumb people. Sorry, that's way too early for that reference.
way too early for that reference? If you get to say a dumb thing, I want to say a dumb thing.
Hell yeah, brother.
It's not a dumb thing. It's only dumb
That's
because
what
we've said it.
podcasts are for.
We just take turns saying dumb stuff.
Yeah, did you just realize that?
I thought I've been saying smart things this entire time. No, I think we've said this before like 100 times, but it was just so nice to sit down and watch a movie I actually enjoyed and then get to talk about it. I took one note this entire movie because I was just watching a movie. I was just watching a film and I got into it and I stopped taking notes after the first like 10 minutes because I was just having a good time and I didn't want to look away. So this is lovely. This episode was delayed and I was upset because I was looking forward to seeing this.
I'm so sorry. That was on me.
It was. You're right.
It was very strange waking up and first thing watching this movie like on a Saturday morning. That's not this kind of vibe for this movie, but I did have a great time. It sounds like it's 2 against 1 this episode. So Hans, why don't you go ahead and...
Well, you have to explain now that Aaron brought it up and then you said something about Saturday. You have to explain why we're delayed.
What? Because of me? Because I couldn't make it to record?
Yeah.
And then I was like, hey, let's, I'm not going to be able to make it last Tuesday. I'm not going to be able to make it this Tuesday. Let's record one, on the weekend, like Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Is that
it's currently 11:59 a.m. on Saturday.
Very nearly 3 weeks.
Oh yeah. But it is what it is. We haven't even for full reference. We haven't even started releasing. This is part of season 2. We haven't started releasing season 2 yet. We're releasing this theoretically, hopefully.
And whose fault is that?
I'm getting there. We're releasing this theoretically, hopefully, potentially. We're recording this the Saturday before we release our first episode of season 2 on Tuesday, which is also because Zach said he would make the theme music for that, and he hasn't done that. So today, I am 100% podcaster this weekend. We're going to finish this episode. I'm going to say, cool, great. It was nice. It was lovely talking to you, gents. And I'm just going to figure out what the theme music for season 2 sounds like so we can release. And
I think it should be vaguely spooky.
Don't worry. It'll be vaguely. Don't you worry. What is funny about that also, if you're listening to this now 5 episodes after the season 1 premiere, we very much mentioned the date that we recorded the season 1 premiere, because the season 1 premiere is Trap, and we recorded it very soon after Trap came out,
Yeah.
like around opening weekend. It only gets funnier the longer we take to release it. Like, we have watched it, we talked about it, weeks have gone by, the movie has been discoursed, it came out on 4K Blu-ray.
I bought the Blu-ray.
We all just picked it up on sale. I've rewatched Trap now at this point, and and in that time we haven't released, like, multiple holidays have happened. Like, you can look up the Trap release date. That's pretty much when we recorded it. So we have our thoughts that we're not even late to the game, because we only have those initial, like, poorly, formed thoughts. They're just coming at you like months later. It's completely worthless as an audio product. But we're releasing it.
That's this whole project. That's
it is.
I
But
think
it
that's
really comes
the
into focus when
tagline.
we're, like,
Completely worthless as an audio product.
But
Yeah.
like, we could have recorded in August and released in August, like a real movie podcast about like a new movie that just came out. Or we could have waited and said, let's reflect on it. Let's give it some time. No. Worst of both worlds. And when we recorded, I thought that would be the case, but I thought it would be like by 3 weeks or something. Like, oh, it'll be a bit late. I didn't think it was going to be the next calendar year. But we're here to talk about Split, Hans.
We are here to talk about Split.
Finally.
Which
I'm
I
sorry,
loved.
Aaron, I'm so sorry.
The second time. This is the second time I've seen this.
Nice.
I saw it shortly after it came out. Like, right when it hit streaming, I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it.
This
and
was
I
my
loved
first
it
time.
even more this time.
Good. Happy for you.
But
what are your
Hans,
thoughts?
what is Split?
Hans.
What's up? What's going
Hans,
on?
tell us. Hans, please tell us. Please, we don't know.
So we're still doing this wrong. We're doing it backwards because we thought it'd be funny. And
It is funny.
when you run into
is
a
funny.
trilogy that was released in order, like trilogies normally are,
Typically.
Except
when you
for
go
Star
through them
Wars, weirdly
backwards-
enough, but okay.
when you go through them
We are Star
backwards,
Wars,
it doesn't really work so well. I don't know if you knew that. So Split is the second installment in the Unbreakable trilogy and a stealth sequel, says Wikipedia, to Unbreakable, also directed by M. Night Shyamalan from 2000. Split was released in 2016.
Yeah.
So the reason I said that I maybe wasn't so excited to talk about this was just because it was a movie. It's a movie. I liked it. It's good. Maybe takes like mental health to the extreme, but it's good.
What?
That's it.
I don't know.
You can't
That's
be
all I got.
ambivalent about a Shyamalan movie. What do
That's not allowed.
Well, that's what's happening.
his movies are like
Well,
anti-ambivalent.
A mix of 5 and 1 stars. Are you
Yeah.
5 or 1 star, Hans?
No, probably somewhere right in the middle. Maybe like
That's
2.5,
not
3.
an option in a Shyamalan movie. That's like one of the things that I think we're going to need to talk about when we do the wrap-up episode in 6 months.
Although we say that, I think so far for all of these movies, they've been in the 3 to 4 star range for me. So maybe that's kind of a lie, but
No, this is pretty much right down the middle, and I think that's why I wasn't so excited to talk about it. I have so much more fun talking about trash with you two. This was just like a
Can't
pretty
handle art.
serviceable movie for me.
terrible.
well, that's disappointing. You're great at this. I have ascended to
I'm
full.
sorry to
I'm
disappoint
110%
you.
podcaster mode. You're really sapping the energy out of the room.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm sorry to do it, but
Ambivalence is the worst energy for a podcast. Come on.
Yeah, Hans, don't you know everything has to be the best ever or the worst ever? We got to get the clicks. Got to
We're
have
not
a hot
looking for
take.
clicks. We don't have ad.
Gotta
we don't
have a hot take
sponsors.
on this
We're not
movie
looking
from
for ad
2016.
revenue. We do this to waste time and hang out with each other.
Hans,
I'm allowed to be ambivalent.
Hans, I've worked too hard to get here. You can't let me down.
You haven't worked at all to get here.
Please tell us what happens.
Yeah, tell us what happens in Split.
Split. In the movie Split.
What did happen?
Hans!
You don't even remember what happened?
Hans!
It's been a while. It's been 3 weeks.
I gave you 3 weeks to rewatch it. You're welcome. That's your fault.
Hold on, let me pull up the Wikipedia.
No!
One of you do it.
No!
This is
One
a
of you
very
do it.
confrontational episode. The
so much
energy
more,
in
no,
this
no. You know what? No,
virtual
you're so
room
much more
is
excited
weird.
to talk about this than I am. Go for it. One of you, take it away.
Well, okay, so how about this? The different personalities of Aaron and Zach will fight for the lights to take turns recapping the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who has the light
Original.
first? I know, super original.
Well, I think, well, in order to bring someone to the light, you have to speak their full name.
Oh,
So Zachary Raymond Weiberg.
yeah. He doesn't even do that. I don't know why I did that. hello. Wait, I don't need to do a voice. I just do Zach's voice. That's I was gonna do like, hello, I am Zachary Weiberg, but scratch that. Okay. Splits opens with Anya Taylor-Joy. I'm sorry, I don't remember her character's name. Nor this was a thing that happened in all the Skull movies. I should
Casey.
Claire?
I think
Casey.
it was.
Casey. Yeah, the other girl's Claire.
Not Ryback.
No. do not bring him into this. Do not bring Steven's personality into this.
Every single time we
Do not let Steven
every
see the
one
lights.
of these, he who shall not be named comes up by one of us,
No,
and
we're
the other
burying
two of
it.
us get mad at that person, and it changes every time.
We've hidden Steven far away. He's not allowed to be in the lights. Okay,
But
she's
he
at-
keeps coming back up.
Anya Taylor-Joy is at a birthday party. She's very clearly not a popular
the
gal.
beast
She was
from
just
the
kind of
East.
pity invited there. But this gal whose birthday it is, her dad, he's like super chill. He just seems like a pretty cool
Yeah,
guy.
good,
He's
there's
like,
a lot of good dad energy going on.
yeah. He's just like, oh no, we're gonna make sure we wait here till she gets picked up, and she's not getting picked up. So he's like, okay, we'll give you a drive home. He goes to give her the drive home, and then that's when they get tooken. So James McAvoy, he takes over the car and he kidnaps them.
Get tooken.
In like,
Tooken.
I love this scene, but
Aaron's
we can talk
coming
about it
to the lights.
later.
Aaron's
But
coming
just
to the
get through the plot.
Okay.
We
Zach's
do
back
this
on the
every
lights.
time. We just gotta.
Hold on,
We
let
gotta
Zach
get
take the
there.
lights. They get tooken, so they're hidden in like this basement room. The three gals. I don't remember the other two names either. Popular Girl 1 and Popular Girl 2.
Claire and Marcia.
Claire and Marcia are like, hey, we need to like fight back. I took every time. I shouldn't be surprised how many Philadelphia, like Pennsylvania specific references there are, but every time it happens, like I just get a little smile on my face. We all live in Pennsylvania for reference.
Yeah.
She's like, I took karate at the King of Prussia Mall, so we need to fight back. But Anya Taylor-Joy is like, no, it's not going to work. Spoiler alert, it doesn't work. So
No.
while they're in this basement, they attempt various, ways
James
of
McAvoy in this
escaping.
movie is completely shredded. So
Oh, he fit. My man is fit. Depending on which personality he is. Some
This
of
is
them
true.
are not fits. But while they're trying like conventional escape, like let's bust a hole through the wall, Anya Taylor-Joy eventually realizes like we need to, these different personalities are different people. I need to understand each one and try to like use them to my advantage. Like she's, being strategic about it. Because these gals, every time they try and escape and he catches them, he like locks, okay, I'm taking popular Girl 1, putting her in the closet. Okay, now I'm taking Popular Girl 2, putting her in a separate closet. So they're separated. Meanwhile, this is going on. The split personality, James McAvoy is meeting with like a therapist who specializes in DID. In, let's say, this movie's universe's like Batman rules of DID, very much like Han said, not an actor. I saw like that activist groups related to like mental wellness like took issue with this movie. I think you kind of need to treat it like the way Batman is like, this is just like these being crazy is like a superpower in this world. It's not
It's
actually
a superhero movie. Yeah.
It's a superhero movie. Do not look at this in any way as a representation of real people with mental illness.
Right.
But his personalities are meeting with this therapist. But she also keeps getting these emails from him that are like, help us, please, we need help. And she's like, hey, what's up with the emails? And he's like, no, it's all good, bro. Don't worry. It's the different personalities fighting. And some of them are trying to get the help
all
to stop
good, bro.
him from
Don't
kidnapping.
worry.
That's what fashion designer James McAvoy is like, no, it's all good. I'm fine. And you learn that there is Kevin is the real life guy.
he's like the main identity.
Well, Kevin isn't even the main. Kevin is just like the human.
Before he developed
Before he
dissociative
developed
identity
the
disorder.
identities,
Yeah.
but Kevin's never really in control. He's like completely hidden. But you have Barry and Dennis. So what happens is that I want to make sure that I have the real one. So Barry has been in control. Barry chooses the personalities. Now Dennis has taken over. He's pretending to be Barry for the doctor, but really Dennis is like the one that like wants to kidnap people, and now he's in control, just trying to like fake it.
Yeah, he's like
but
the
other-
serial killer personality.
Yeah, like
The
definitely
creepy to women personality.
Yeah, like the not actually realistic, but like movie portrayal of like OCD serial killer that he's just like,
Yeah.
you have a crumb on your shirt, I need you to remove it. Like,
Mhm.
yeah,
Put the lotion on your skin.
yes. So, therapist gal, she's like, no, something's definitely up. She goes to M. Night Shyamalan for help. He plays like he's like a landlord or security guard that's really into Hooters.
It's a great scene. I love.
He's great. This is like maybe my favorite cameo so far.
Cameo. It's awesome.
So she goes to try to rescue the gals, but she gets found out. Like she finds one of the gals. James McAvoy's like, "Hey, I don't like that you did that." So he like knocks her out and kills her eventually while she's trying to help the girls escape. So yeah, now two popular girls, they get eaten by the beast. The beast is the one that he needs to purify the unclean ones, and he does that by eating them. If they're basically, if they've had a pretty easy, cushy life, they're impure. If they've suffered some kind of distress, they're pure. That'll come back later.
Yeah.
And by later, I mean now. Anya Taylor-Joy is trying to escape, and very temporarily, Kevin Wendell Crumb comes back to the lights because the psychiatrist told her to say his name, and he'd come back and he's like, "Hey, here's a shotgun, please kill me." And then they take over and force Kevin back into the darkness. So she's trying to shoot him with a shotgun, trying to escape, and it just doesn't work because the beast, like his skin is tough enough to block the buckshots. But then he sees that her uncle, who's been her like foster parent after her dad died, her uncle like abused her. She has like marks. You get some flashbacks throughout the movie indicating this. There's a very, when they show that, they start off Uncle's a chill guy. When they show Uncle's not a chill guy, I did not like that scene. I was sitting there going, no,
very uncomfortable.
Very
No,
unchill.
very uncomfortable.
Very bad. And she has these like scars on her stomach. So the beast sees that and he's like, "Wait a minute, you're pure." And he just leaves and lets her go. And she's found by police the next day. But the beast is still on the loose. And then they're just like, I don't like to be the person that points out when M. Night Shyamalan dialogue feels weird, but in like a very M. Night Shyamalan-y dialogue-y kind of way, there's these two people like, "Oh, wow, he is a crazy guy, and they gave him a weird name. Isn't that like that guy in that wheelchair from like 19 years ago? What was his name?" And Bruce Willis is like, "Mr. Glass."
Yeah.
I don't know. That's not the music. But movie ends and it does something very cute. You get to the credits start rolling, and then you see that there's like the credits are duplicated like 16 times. Like, you know, in
24 times, one for each personality. Zach,
Come on.
you didn't even want to recount the movie. Shut up. But yeah,
and I still remember pretty key details. Zach,
the credits. Yeah, Mr. Reed from Wikipedia.
Usually
the credits
you're the
are
one
playing
giving me
24
shit.
times. That's it. That's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
So the personality of Zach is doing a lot of f***ing heavy lifting here because the personality of Hans refused to come to the light and recap the movie. Everyone's a critic.
But the movie's about trauma.
Yes. In a sometimes interesting, sometimes not great kind of way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of have like, I this is an issue I have a lot because as like a fan of Hideo Kojima, it's the same thing. Like, wow, I liked this work. It's also pretty irresponsible in a lot of its messaging. I do have like a personal issue with some of the kind of themes as they're presented, but overall, I had a good time.
Yeah.
This really is a movie that showcases how interesting you can film what is not quite, but almost like a single location film.
Yeah, there are like, I think, two distinct locations. There's like the Philadelphia Zoo and the doctor's office.
And like
the
technically, like the
psychologist's
flashbacks
office.
kind of give you like a third.
Yeah,
The flashbacks of her
you're there
childhood.
for like 30 seconds. It's
Yeah.
But
And that's a thing we've seen in a few of these movies that I think after he was given like unlimited budgets in his early career, he's really gone into the micro movie route. Like Knock at the Cabin is basically one location. Even Trap, like relatively confined. Like you can tell this is something he's very particularly talented in, and the work he does with the cinematographers like finds really interesting ways to keep finding very impressive, like very fun visuals for such contained locations. I think it's a good showcase of the performances. I think Anya Taylor-Joy and James McAvoy are fantastic.
I
Like,
think
amazing.
I think they have a unique talent for making Shyamalan dialogue not sound close to as weird as it is.
Yeah. No, they do a particularly good job at delivering its unconvincing dialogue in a convincing way that you don't notice.
my favorite one of those, the one at the end was definitely in there, but my favorite one was at the very beginning when they're loading up the birthday presents for the popular girl in the car, and on their way to the car, they're talking about, man, I can't believe there's a lot of presents, and as they're loading them into the car, oh, I got more presents than I even thought I did, and this is supposed to be like an 18-year-old girl.
Yeah.
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 Man, I can't believe I got all these presents. Oh, I got so many more presents than I thought I did. Oh.
I think my favorite little bit of dialogue was anytime she was talking to Hedwig. In the servant episode, I talked about how like I really uncannily identified with the husband because he's like a jerk in the way that I don't think I'm a jerk, but if I was a jerk, I would be a jerk. I weirdly, when I was watching,
He's like the only one. He's playing the straight guy, is what it is.
Yeah. But in this one, there was a time when I was watching when she's interacting with Hedwig, and she's like,
Who
hey,
is, for context, like the identity
like
that's a
an
9-year-old boy.
kid. Yeah. He's like a child. He's like, hey, what's up? You want to see my CDs? I got these CDs. And it's just funny because she's like, yes, please. Can you show me like your CDs? And he just puts on this kind of like club dubstep mix and just like skanks it up hardcore. Like he's just like jamming. And then he's just like, okay, we need to go. And she's like, no, please show me your Kanye West CDs. And I was like, wow, Hedwig is literally me. This is literally just like how I like whenever Sarah and I were first dating, I'm just like, hey, why don't you come in my room and you want to see my Kanye West CDs? Huh? Like, you think that's cool, right? That's cool.
That was a brilliant delivery from Anya Taylor-Joy. No, please show me your Kanye West CDs. But she delivers it in just such a convincing way. She's like, she can put so much emotionality in it.
I'm not going to say Hedwig's living the male fantasy, but Hedwig's living the Zach fantasy. Just scrolling like, please, show me your bad dance moves and your Kanye West CDs. That's all I want to see right now. You're so cool. You're so interesting.
It should be noted this came out in 2016 when that man was maybe a little less controversial.
That was Life of Pop, maybe slightly before Life of Pablo era, definitely after Yeezus. That would be when I was in like exiting my Kanye West era, but still somewhat in the Kanye West era. 2013 was like primo Zach Kanye West era.
Great.
That's good to know, Zach.
But can we? So I'm split, on how to kind of tackle this movie because there's a lot going on here. Like there are very few sets and things. But I wrote in my Letterboxd review that this is kind of like the platonic form of a Shyamalan movie for me.
So far, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
hold
I
on. Whoa, you're giving me shit for saying that this was like a perfectly serviceable movie.
No,
and I wasn't. I wasn't on one
side.
side or the other, and now you're telling me that this is the platonic form of a Shyamalan movie?
I don't think you're making the point you think you are, Hans.
Am I? Am I not?
Yeah. What is the point you're trying to make here? What's wrong with this being the platonic form of a
Explain to me what you
movie?
mean by this.
Well,
This
I
is
think
the
you're
platonic
also
form of a
wrong in your
Shyamalan
evaluation of the film. So I just think you're wrong about two things now.
Fine. Explain. Go on.
So, well, you have to say my full name, and then my personality can come to the light.
Zach is still at the surface.
Yeah.
Come on, play in this space, Hans.
I'm gonna hide in my chair around the circle.
He's in the dark. I'm just gonna keep talking about Kanye West if you let me.
Aaron Michael Patrick Lynch.
Oh, there you
please
go.
Take the light.
Oh
Oh my god.
There's a shotgun behind the shelf. Over there. So I mentioned very briefly the dialogue, and I think this is both a great example and in one way not a great example of Shyamalan writing. So we've talked about in all of these basically that when he writes dialogue, it is awkward. Like people just state their emotions, they reiterate what is happening in the scene. But I think here, with these actors and these kinds of situations, it works really, really well about 95% of the time. It's in like those weird moments where you're not in those situations. So like when Anya Taylor-Joy is talking to James McAvoy, any of the James McAvoy personalities, I think it works really well. Part of the reason for that is I think they're both playing characters. Like the characters are playing characters. And so there can be a bit of an awkwardness or an unreality to how they talk about things, and that's it feels very purposeful. So Anya Taylor-Joy yelling, please show me your Kanye West CDs. Her character Casey is playing a character. She has to put on a persona to try and convince this 9-year-old boy in a grown man's body to like help her escape. And so she's trying to win her over. And so she's saying things that she would not normally say. That's not a normal thing to say. But she is.
I
playing
Take
a
that,
character.
Zach.
She
Go
is
on.
playing a character. And James McAvoy spends the entire movie just playing a bunch of characters, except for I think he does one thing brilliantly. One particular scene that I think is brilliant, and I kind of referenced it a minute ago. When the main identity, Kevin, takes over for like 30 seconds. There's a certain moment, like after the Beast has come out and Anya Taylor-Joy figures out how to bring like the original identity out by saying his full name, Kevin Wendell Crumb. And he comes out and he just looks at her and says, what year is it? What have I done? Okay, I need you to kill me because I can't control these things. And multiple of the identities inside me are serial killers. So I need you to just...
He literally sees a body on the floor.
Yeah.
That's what prompts him to
He's
say
like,
it.
okay, then this needs to stop. And I think like that moment where he's just acting like a normal human being is really brilliant, because I think it also emphasizes how all of the other identities were like characters within him.
Yeah.
And this is the main
That's a good point.
identity. He acts like it's the main identity, and that just carries through in the way he holds himself and the way he holds his face, how he emotes. I think he did a brilliant job here, both making the awkward Shyamalan dialogue work and then also kind of breaking out of that. It's almost jarring when the main identity of Kevin comes forward, because it's just so different from the other identities.
Like it feels like a different character played by the
Feels
same
like
guy.
a
Yeah.
different character, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think he can make even the awkward bits of a Shyamalan movie work, while still remaining awkward, but like the awkwardness becomes part of it in a way that I think this is, at least so far, maybe some other movies will be even better than this, but I think this is like the perfect example of what a Shyamalan movie can be, while maintaining all of its Shyamalanness.
Yeah.
Maintaining
Like you would
the character
say-
of a Shyamalan movie.
Like you would say this is him firing in all cylinders.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
all the pieces are coming together. Like you see these pieces, like he's done like the same exact puzzle pieces in these other movies.
Yeah.
Puzzle doesn't always come together perfectly.
No.
This one, the pieces all come together.
Yeah. So like Servant, I think, is a great example of somebody else's writing an idea, just getting like the cream of the Shyamalan.
A little Shyamalan glaze.
Yeah, just like a little bit of
Like
the
a Krispy
Shyamalan.
Kreme donut with the Shyamalan glaze.
just taking the good and digestible elements of what Shyamalan is and then importing them into something.
Like glaze on Krispy Kreme donuts is the opposite of digestible, Aaron.
Yeah, okay, maybe not the best, but
Just the fun bits, just the
it's a
stuff that
Shyamalan
really works.
souffle.
Yeah.
No.
I think
Shyamalan
Servant
croissants.
is a great example of taking some elements of a Shyamalan film and Shyamalan media and bringing it into something else and like elevating it all. I think this Split is a great example of everything here is a Shyamalan thing. Limited
Yeah.
sets, very Philadelphian. Everything
Very.
has something to do with Philadelphia. A little bit awkward dialogue. Like the way the camera moves and what he chooses to focus on and how he chooses to frame things.
Definitely the
It
twist
just-
at the end. Perfect Shyamalan
yeah.
twist.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
Yeah.
But I think this is just like a really, really great example of what a Shyamalan movie can be. I don't think it's perfect.
Yeah.
Because I don't think anybody in that diner scene at the end, right before the credits, knows how to deliver Shyamalan dialogue. I don't think they know how to
That's
do
fine.
it.
But you occasionally, so there's like this idea. There are, I believe it's like Persian rug makers that have this idea that they don't want to make like they'll intentionally add little mistakes in there because like to try to make something perfect is like too close to trying to be God. Like the only thing imperfect is God, so like they need to remind themselves that they are human.
Yeah.
Along those lines, I think it's like you just need that little taste, that little bit of like, oh, here it is not working. So then
Yeah.
you can be reminded that for the other 95% of the movie, how well it was working.
Yeah. So the lady
Right.
at the diner who says, "Wow,
Oh, she's great. I love her.
they gave him a weird name. Remember that guy 19
Yes.
years ago that the
No, she's
news
great.
gave a weird name to? Who was that?"
Yes.
Like your community theater actor. Maybe she was directed to say it that way. I'm not like insulting her. I thought it was fun the way she said that, but it doesn't really fit the tone of the rest of the movie.
No.
I was fine with it, but like that's what Shyamalan dialogue sounds like a lot of the time. And then you hear James McAvoy give Shyamalan dialogue, and it's just a completely different thing.
Yeah, no,
He was having a good time. I think we said that for the last movie too.
I think so.
But he was just having a good time.
But it's not just like in a careless way. Like you can tell he like put a lot of thought into this.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He like played the role. You couldn't play that role more perfectly.
Like I am
was
so
really
glad that he and Shyamalan just like found each other as collaborators.
I think he did it more successfully here though than in Glass.
Yeah, I do feel like the one thing, not even a mark against this movie, the one interesting thing about this movie is it retroactively made me like Glass less.
Yeah.
I was kind of mixed on Glass, and now that I've seen this, where it feels not like the same exact formula because you have like more of an ensemble thing in that one, but when you see the same idea, this like same character, like this setting executed on better, you're like, oh, it really was pretty weak in Glass. Not that James McAvoy's performance was weak, but the overall like the feeling, like what it communicates, like it was that same character.
It's almost like you shouldn't watch these movies backwards.
No, I don't think that's I think we're still in the right on that. I don't know if that's the lesson.
We were never in the right on that.
But like this, I'm not going to say it drops Glass a half star, but it does. I don't feel the urge to rewatch Glass ever again. I would rewatch Split. I think I would.
This
have
is
a
the
good
second time I've
watching it
seen
again.
Split. I loved it the second time as well.
Yeah.
So
that's
far,
fair.
Trap and Split are on the rewatch list. I don't know if anything else is. Maybe in a while, maybe The Beach That Makes You Old. But I already rewatched that one. So
Well, so I think that leads us into a second part of this conversation, a twist. I think the movies that we've pointed out as being the most rewatchable are the ones that just like don't have much of a twist, if there is a twist at all.
you could argue they have a twist, but they're not ones where like the whole movie hinges on the twist.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
'Cause Trap
also
has a little twist,
Little bit of a twist, but it's not like a huge
Yeah.
twist.
Even here, the twist is, I feel like just at the end, oh, hey, this is connected to Unbreakable. Whoa.
Whoa.
Like, but
Yeah.
you could remove that and the movie would otherwise be the same. Like, it doesn't
Yeah.
hinge on that twist.
You could take out the last 30 seconds of the movie
Yeah.
and nothing would change. I think.
Totally fine.
I think we also have to bear in mind that we're still, because we're doing this backwards, we're still learning what a classic Shyamalan twist is.
Yeah.
Like we're learning that as we go. We don't know yet. Like this might not be that.
No, but I feel like it is, like, even we have not yet watched, like, the most famous one, I See Dead People, like The Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
Like, we have not yet watched that, but every single human being in these United States of America knows that Bruce Willis was dead the whole time at the end of The Sixth Sense. I'm sorry, that's a spoiler. So
It's the most
I'm
famous movie
curious
twist
when
in
we get
history.
there, because that is a movie that hinges on the twist. I'm kind of curious how that feels now watching it fully knowing the twist versus like what it'd be like to watch that completely fresh.
Yeah.
But so I do think it'll hold. I do feel like there is some validity to, like, there's a difference. There's like no twist. There's like twist that the movie kind of hinges on, and then there's like twist that's just kind of there but doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Because like this, you could know the twist. We did know the twist going in, but like,
Well, so
the
what
movie
is
is
the
not held up
twist?
by that. I think the twist is, oh hey, this connects to Unbreakable. Oh hey, this is stealth sequel.
Okay.
I
I don't think that's a
disagree.
twist.
Fine. It's like
I don't think. I
reveal.
think that's like. I think a twist is different from a reveal.
I'd agree with Aaron, but I'm curious to know what you think the twist is.
Do you think there's a twist here?
I think if there is a twist, it's that the beast is real. However, I don't think that's much of a twist because that is like the central question of the whole movie. They're like, I think there are three central questions.
Because the twist has to be like unexpected. Like, whoa, I didn't know that. That's
Yeah.
kind of like answering the question it's been asking.
Yeah, this is more of a mystery box movie
Yeah.
than something that relies on a twist or has a twist at the end. So that, like, the question that keeps being asked throughout the movie, everyone's talking about the beast. So the question is, what is the beast and is it real? And you find out the movie, the beast is real. Although if you watched Glass before this, you already know that.
Yeah.
And you already know that it's real.
Yeah.
Because the twist there is that it's real. Oh, no, it's
Whoa.
not. Except, yes, it is.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah, Glass just spent his whole time kind of answering a question that this movie kind of answers. Yeah.
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 But I don't think it's like a twist because it's not surprising.
I agree. I think
that's what the movie has been building up to.
I understand why you say you don't think that, like, you know, this tie-in at the end is a twist, because it's not the platonic ideal.
It doesn't affect the plot at all.
Yeah. But I think that's the closest thing this movie has to a twist. Is like,
yeah, whether it exists in the same universe as Unbreakable or not doesn't affect the story.
It doesn't. But it
doesn't change anything about the story.
But it's like a metatextual twist.
Well, I wouldn't say that's a twist then. That's just like
it places the movie in a new
connection.
Context. Well, imagine.
No, then you'd have to say, like, Marvel movies that have after credit scenes that do the same thing have twists in the same way, and they definitely don't.
No. Because that you already know it's part of a shared universe. That's not a twist. It's showing, hey, here's another way this is a shared universe. Hey, here's this character showing up. I think the fact that this was not advertised as a shared universe and then revealed at the end is a bit of a twist.
So,
yes.
I would all, folks.
say I would say then, like, if it's metatextual, I don't think that's a twist. It's not about the movie. It doesn't affect the plot at all. And so whether this movie is also in the same universe as this other movie or not doesn't change anything about the story. What is the story being told? Nothing is different. It's the same thing. And so, like, it could have been, I don't know, like in the credits, be like, oh, and, you know, just like a sentence that says this is a sequel to Unbreakable. Ooh. And like that would be the same.
That would be a very disappointing reveal.
That'd be a very disappointing way to communicate that. But it's the same thing.
No, I would agree. I don't think it's like a plot twist because it doesn't
not
change
a plot
the plot.
twist.
But I think it is like a twist. It's like, ooh, that was unexpected. If you did not watch these movies in reverse order, that was unexpected.
Well, I think then I just wouldn't call it a, when I say twist, I mean plot twist. I think that's what I'm saying.
I don't think it is like a Shyamalan twist, but I think it is like an unexpected thing that kind of gives you a new perception of the events you just watched. Like it is a.
I don't think it gives you a new perception on the stuff you just watched.
I mean, if we did not watch this in reverse order, I think that reveal would have made me think about it slightly differently.
So I agree with both of you to a certain extent. I understand what Zach is saying,
here,
but. The question that we're here to answer that no one asked is, does this movie have a Shyamalan twist?
No.
Like that's what we've been saying. That's what we've been saying for all of these that we've watched so far.
Yeah.
And if you ask me that, I would say no.
I think M. Night Shyamalan put a twist in here, but it's not like an M. Night Shyamalan twist.
I don't think it satisfies the definition of what most people mean when they say twist. When somebody asks, is there a twist at the end of this movie? I would say no, but there's a fun reveal.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair, but I would say if somebody said, oh, is there a twist? I'd be like, oh, I don't know if you'd count this, but like Bruce Willis shows up at the end. It's revealed. Like I would on the scale.
So, but that kind of proves my point.
We're really split.
That proves my point.
We're all allowed to be right. Like you can be right, Eric can be right, we can all be right.
On a scale of 0 to 100, I'd say this is like a 20 to 30. Not like 100, not like a full twist. But I'd be like, oh, well, there is like this reveal at the end.
No,
like,
okay, but...
Why?
But it's on the scale. It's not all the way over on the scale.
But I think you just kind of proved my point. That if someone who has not seen this movie...
It doesn't have to be a point. We can have
it's my point. I have a point
on this.
Every conversation is an argument. Come on.
I don't have to... I could say, oh yeah, that was like a bit of a twist. Not like a true Shyamalan plot twist, but it was a bit of a twist at the end.
The way you just described that, someone comes to you and they say, hey, I'm going to watch this movie called Split. Is there a twist at the end? And you say, well, not really, but Bruce Willis shows up at the end. I would feel comfortable telling someone who doesn't know that. I would be like, Bruce Willis shows up at the end. It's kind of like a stealth sequel to Unbreakable. I might even tell them that information to sell them on it. To say it's connected to like this wider series of movies.
We ruined it for ourselves.
That.
We knew this because we're watching it backwards. I think that would be fun if they went in not knowing. If they watched Unbreakable, especially if they watched it like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And then, like, because you have to remember, like, this is literally like 16 years later. That's like, whoa, it actually connects to this movie. Like, I think that's, if you can go in, you can't go in blind at this point listening to the podcast because we've revealed it several times over.
Yeah.
If you, listener, somehow have not listened to anything we said before and you watch Unbreakable and then you go into Split not realizing it's connected to Unbreakable, which again, you can't because I just told you it's connected. If you have no information, you just view these as two entirely separate movies from the same director. I think I would prefer that a person go in blind, not have that, and just be like, oh. Like, I'm not even saying this is going to be revelatory. I'm not even going to say this is like the craziest thing to happen in cinema. but I think
No.
it would be kind of neat. I would not tell if they did not know about that. I would not tell them because then it would be kind of neat for them to learn that on their own.
But
This moment right here,
Yeah.
this moment
Peak podcast.
is the most three white guys making a movie
Peak
podcast
podcast.
moment that we have ever had. This is awful. Can
I
we
think it would
move
be
on?
kind of neat.
Can we
That's all
please
I'm
move
arguing.
on? I would really love to talk about anything else.
what do you want to talk about?
Hans Friedrich Schreiner.
Schreiner. You've taken the light.
Schreiner, take over. Hans Friedrich Schreiner, enter the lights.
I didn't really have a whole lot to say about this movie. I liked it. We've talked about it a lot. This is great. I just want to talk about anything other than that. What else do we have to say about this film?
Hans, you're the worst personality to take over the same body that we share.
Can we talk
I
about?
think I don't know about that.
Imagine one of
When
these
we're in the
personalities
context
taking
we're
over
talking about here.
and then being like, "Oh, what do I do now?" No, that's no, I
We
don't know.
we mentioned very, very briefly M. Night Shyamalan's
cameo.
cameo
Yes,
in
that's what
this
I wanted to
movie.
talk about next.
Great.
Okay,
We want to
good.
talk about that.
I
Let's
love
talk
him.
about that.
He's great.
It's the best cameo so far. I loved it.
Yes.
It was. It's very good.
It was wonderful, and there was like a whole conversation there.
He's just
between-
yucking it up with the therapist. They're
Yeah,
great.
so M. Night Shyamalan is like a security guard at the Philadelphia Zoo.
No, he's not.
No,
he's
no. At her
like,
apartment building.
Yeah,
Her apartment building. Sorry.
he's like the super.
It's
I
been a
assume.
minute.
Yeah. And he's a security guard at the psychologist's apartment building. And she's like trying to gather information about James McAvoy from security cameras and stuff. And they have a hilarious conversation about like some chicken wings that M. Night Shyamalan
that he got from Hooters.
that he got. And she refers to Hooters as it's like Henry V ran a fast food franchise.
Yeah. No, she does like a whole psychoanalysis. She's like, it's men's need to be surrounded by like meat and like large-breasted women or something. Like she's Shyamalan dialoguing it. It's great.
But I think also this shows that like Shyamalan's pretty good at delivering Shyamalan dialogue.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing.
Yes,
He's great.
Yeah.
He's a great Shyamalan character.
Is that the twist? That Shyamalan is really good at delivering his own dialogue, but which is not always true for writers.
Yeah. Mixed
But-
success in old.
Yeah.
Mixed success, but in a more positive way in Trap.
Yes.
Whenever he's like, I'm her uncle, I'm her father's brother. Like that's great in Trap. That's Shyamalan dialogue, but he's delivering it very campy.
It's so good. I mean, I think Trap is just generally a campier
Oh,
film.
Please
Oh,
watch
for sure.
Trap. Please watch Trap and give it a good
It's
rating
so
on Letterboxd.
good.
It's sitting at what, like a 2.3. I'm sorry, I'm going to use this for
What?
my soapbox. It's a 2.7. Please watch it and give it a good review on Letterboxd. It deserves more than a 2.7. It's such a fun
so
movie.
good.
It's so funny. I just rewatched it. I was laughing. I was giggling. I was giddy. Please watch Trap and Split.
I just got the 4K Blu-ray. I can't wait to
Please
get
I
it
bought the
rewatch.
4K
Yes,
I'm
Blu-ray.
very
It's not
excited.
here
It's so
yet
good.
because they ran out.
They ran out because all the
literally
trap heads out
ran
there
out
are
of
ordering
them.
it. Everyone's on the trap train. Please, everybody who ordered the Blu-ray in the recent Amazon 3 for 33 sale, please rewatch it and give it a good review. We need you,
It's
the
so
trap
good.
warriors. We need to fight the heathens out there giving it negative
The
reviews.
heathens.
Please give it a 4-star or better.
So I think
3.5 or better.
that leads to a different question as well. So one, just kind of to wrap up our talk about
Yeah.
this cameo. I think this so far for me is the best cameo by a pretty good margin for me from him. I love the cameos. I really like the salad spinner cameo in Knock at the Cabin. That was great. But I think this is
Up
my
there with
favorite.
that for me.
And I love that he always casts himself as like just some guy.
He's just some guy.
Yeah,
Some
the
guy.
most he had to do with the plot was in Old. And
Yeah.
I don't think it worked as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Like he was pivotal to the story in Old, and I don't think it.
Yeah, it kind of
worked.
sucked the wind out of the sails. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but here, like
I'm
you
gonna
could
make a
replace
fan
him
edit
with.
of that movie that just removes the whole reveal, and it'll be so much better of a film. Just look for that on fanedits.org or whatever.
Yeah, but I think here, you could replace him with somebody else, and it would still work. But I think his way of delivering these lines really works for this movie, and I think it
Yeah.
elevates it. I think he did a great job here. I liked it. Oh, you referred to Trap as campy.
Yeah.
Here's a theory.
Yeah, Josh
that,
Hartnett's great.
That word kind of brought up in my
Yeah.
mind. It's kind of cooking in my head now. A lot of the hate for Shyamalan movies, what if it's just a different kind of camp? Like a lot of his movies, I think, are maybe a little campy. I think it's maybe just a different kind of camp that a lot of people don't click with.
Yeah. No, yeah, 100%.
And I think
that's exactly what it is.
You sold it as camp, maybe more people would be into it. Because I'm having a great time watching these movies. I have enjoyed these a lot more than I thought I would, honestly. Like, there are more of these that I have enjoyed, and I'm having a better time than I thought I would watching Shyamalan movies. Because I had heard, you hear lots of stuff that he's not a very good movie maker, but he keeps making movies. And I think he is a good movie maker. I've enjoyed these so far. We're going to hit some stinkers in the future.
Yeah, we'll see.
I was just about to say I was looking at the list, and we're going to get to a couple here that are well known.
There's one that I've already seen that I hate. I hate very much.
So this will not hold up the entire time because yes, you're right. We're going to hit a rough patch. I think I would just add on to that. I 100% agree with you. I think the other thing, at least for Trap and Split, which are the two I've enjoyed the most so far. Yeah. From what I can gather, it seems people who are more critical of them, think they are smarter than the movie and think it is unrealistic. So I think it's, again, similarly going in with right expectations. Like you said, going in with like understanding the campiness. I think similar like Trap, people like when you read the negative reviews, they're talking about how implausible it is. And like, I think it's just kind of a mindset. I think here
it's
also
a movie,
but I think here, if you want a realistic portrayal of DID, you do not get that at all. 0%. You will be very disappointed. You'll give it 1 star. Like, you need to understand this is like campy Batman, perhaps insensitive, like valid to critique its portrayal, but like this is not a realistic movie. If you are,
did people go to Iron Man for realism? Like what?
Well,
what?
You don't want to open that can of worms because when that did come out, that was like the whole superhero movies are kind of realistic and grounded now. Like we don't need to get into that. Like that was taking superheroes and like
fine
2008.
I think actually
Infinity War for realism.
I think actually this trilogy of Shyamalan movies, his superhero trilogy, is what a grounded and realistic superhero movie would look like, with like this campy tone to everything.
Right, but I don't think you like. I feel like people still like when people are critical, they're just like, this was so unrealistic. Like, here's a plot hole. Here's this thing that's not accurate. Like, people try to be smarter than the movie. I think you need to go in without that mentality.
Yeah.
People trying to outsmart Shyamalan movies are the people that hate Shyamalan movies, and people expecting like, yes, it is very implausible how Cooper Trapp like keeps getting away with things, and it is very implausible these conversations he has with people. Yes, that's meet the movie where it is, please. And I feel like that's same here. Like, it is a rather implausible situation that unfolds rather implausibly. That's on purpose, I think.
Yeah.
I watched in my life exactly 48 movies that I think I'm smarter than. And I think we know which ones those are.
Are you smarter than Undersea Ship?
There's one movie in there that you're not smarter than.
Which one?
I don't know. You said 48. We watched 49 of those things.
Yeah, I think Machete was fun.
Okay, good.
I had a blast.
But I don't know. We'll have to split some hairs. What about? Or do you think you're smarter than Born to Raise Hell?
Do you?
I don't even remember. I don't remember which one that is. I don't remember what happens in it. I just pulled a random. I was trying to remember a title, and that's the first thing that came to mind. Aaron, do you think you're smarter than Maximum Conviction?
Yes.
yes, you do.
The point I'm trying to make is I completely agree with you. I understand what you're saying. It makes sense. You shouldn't go into movies thinking that way. You should be there to experience the movie, have fun with the movie.
You have to meet it on its terms.
It's a movie.
It's a piece of art.
It's not supposed to be. Yeah.
And if you go into any piece of art with the wrong mindset, like you're gonna be upset by it.
Right.
You have to meet it where it's at. You have to meet like the medium of it where it is. Okay, Zachary Raymond Weiberg.
Because I'm not doing the classic, oh, this movie's not bad, just turn your brain off and enjoy it, because people use that defense for a lot of legitimately bad movies. I'm not saying just, oh, turn your brain off and enjoy it. I'm saying, like, this movie is going for something different. It's reaching out its hand. Don't slap the hand away. Grab the hand. Follow it. See where it leads you.
Yeah. Because it's leading into campy nonsense, which is a lot of fun, and makes its own internal sense.
Yes. It's leading to this guy who's disguised as, what's it? I'm the dude playing the dude disguised as another dude who is now a 9-year-old kid trying to show you his like fun dubstep dance moves and his Kanye West CDs. And
Which is both hilarious and deeply unsettling.
yes.
Yes.
The way that grown man 9-year-old dances made me uncomfortable in the best way.
Do you want to know something fun about that dance?
Sure, go for it. It was in the trailer for this movie.
I saw an interview with Anya Taylor-Joy where she said that there's a whole story behind it. If you watch that dance scene, that James McAvoy in this character, he's like kind of doing an interpretive dance where he's like at this club and then like zombies attack and he's like attacked by zombies and that's when he like falls down on the, like he looks scared and falls down on the ground. Like
he
he's
becomes
kind
a
of
zombie.
Yeah. Like, it's not just, oh, let me just be a weirdo for like 10 seconds. Like, he put this kind of weird background thought into exactly the kind of like fictional story this 9-year-old kid is telling with his dance. And then he's like, isn't that cool? Wasn't that a cool dance?
It was a cool
It's
dance.
great. I love Hedwig. Please show me your Kanye West CDs, Hedwig.
Well, I think Hedwig being the first of these identities that we meet in Glass was very purposeful.
Yeah.
I think he's like the most sympathetic of all of them. Definitely not Dennis, serial killer.
No. Dennis is a no-go.
No.
Patricia? I don't like Patricia.
Mm-mm.
No.
Mm-mm. But no, I do think you just kind of have to meet a Shyamalan movie where it's at. Which does not mean lowering yourself at all. It means Shyamalan films, as far as we've seen so far, I think. My opinion on this might change pretty soon. But they are going for a very particular kind of what I will call camp, which is a fraught term. There's a lot.
This
going
isn't
into
like
that.
a Rocky Horror camp. Like,
No. It is a very subtle kind of camp that
There
you
is a
can't
narrow
pick up on
path.
just by look. Like, take any
Thread the
frame of
needle.
Rocky Horror, and you can just that's a camp film. That is what camp is. Bam, cinema.
definitive camp.
But take any frame of Split or Trap, and you would say that is shot like, that is framed as, it is filmed as a straightforward horror, thriller, suspense film. But the plotting and the dialogue tell me that this is camp. And I think it thrives in the dissonance. And as long as you're willing to embrace the dissonance there, I think you can have a really great time.
You know, I think that is a very good point. I didn't think about it specifically in that way before. But yeah, I do think the people that don't like these movies are maybe just dumber than us and don't realize that. like you need like when a movie is like, hey, I'm campy, and you watch it and it's campy, you're like, that was campy. I could have fun with that.
Yeah.
I think you just, a lot of people are tricked and don't make that
trapped.
connection. They're trapped.
They're
They're
split
abducted.
over it.
They're split. They are.
They're broken like glass.
But I think.
But I am unbroken.
I do think the presentation, the visual presentation, and like the thematic feeling are like in conflict. I think that is on purpose. I think many artists use that in slightly different ways to effective means, and I do think there are a lot of people that just aren't getting that.
Yeah.
Now we say that next we're going to watch The Visit, then we're going to watch After Earth, and we are going to be eating our words. We are no longer going to be the smartest kids at the playground.
No.
We're going to be sitting there eating paste with the fact that we try to defend these. I'm sure when we get to After Earth and The Last Airbender and The Happening and The Lady in the Water. But for now, I'm very smugly saying, if you did not like this movie, it's just because we're better than you. We're smarter than
No,
you.
I'm not saying that.
No.
No. I'm saying that's what
You
Zachary
didn't get
Raymond
it.
Weiberg is saying. Aaron Michael Lynch over here is saying
Now let me
that
take over the body. Let me see the light.
there is a
Let me
very
insult the
intentional
listeners.
that I think there is an intentional dissonance
Yes.
between what the movie looks and sounds like and what it is in its like story and essence. This is a superhero movie without the tights. This is, like I said, it looks like and it sounds like a thriller. Like a really standard one too. Like, this is not an uncommon story. A serial killer kidnaps a teenage girl and she has to find her way out.
Is hostile.
There are a million
This is,
movies like that.
Yeah.
But the writing, the plotting, the dialogue, those come from a different kind of movie.
Yes.
And I think here they combine brilliantly. I think in Glass, it doesn't quite click. It gets close, but it's not quite there. I think in Trap, those two things combine brilliantly. But I think in all these movies, Shyamalan is looking to accomplish something that is very difficult to pull off. And I think when he does pull it off, not everyone is on board with it because there is a dissonance, but the dissonance accomplishes something. And I think that something is brilliant, and I really enjoy seeing it. And I want to see more of it. But it does take. You have to meet it where it's at. You have to just be along for the ride for a second to get what's going on.
Yes. No, that is actually correct. That is the official stance of the M. Night Shyamalan podcast crew.
Good.
Not that everyone else is dumb except for us. That's only kind of the stance of the M. Night Shyamalan crew.
That's only the stance of one of the
That's
personalities.
maybe the stance of you.
No. You put that very well into words. Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you. That's what I try to do around here. Say things that make sense. Doesn't happen a lot, but I try. Well, I forget what I gave this movie on Letterboxd, actually. I gave this 4.5 stars and a like. I don't know what everybody else got it.
Solid.
Not quite as 4 stars. I liked it. Good time. Had fun. I'd rank it Trap first. Then I just literally while we were talking, I started making my Shyamalan ranked list. Although I'm gonna have to do a separate Shyamalan ranked and Shyamalan cameos ranked list. But right now this is second. Trap is number 1 for me.
Trap, I do think Trap accomplishes that dissonance a little better than here.
It's just I love it. I love that movie so much. Hans, what's your
It's
star
very
rating?
3 stars.
Get out of my sights.
I'm sorry. I'm very
you're not
middle of
allowed
the road
in the
on
light
it
anymore. You're sitting in the chair. You're going in the dark.
I liked it. It was good. It was
You're one of the
perfectly
15
serviceable
personalities we hear nothing about.
Yeah, you're not even listed in the credits.
It's a shame that I have the power to take the light from you two then.
No. I'm Hedwig. I have the power. Aaron, who are you? You're not Patricia. You're not Dennis.
No.
Who are you? No,
I'm another
you
one
know
of
the
the
guy that
personalities
just
they
shows
never
up
talk
and
about.
is just like talking about like the historical context of like the Carpathians or whatever. That could be
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
I'll take it.
In the year 1827. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
I mean, he's a little pretentious, but
Yeah.
it tracks.
Yeah.
It's okay.
2025. It's the year we bring pretentious back. You should. Be
Although
proud
to
of
be
that
pretentious, it's
No,
only pretentious
no,
if you're
no.
pretending.
You're saying a lot of really gnarly things today, Zach.
I'm just a silly guy, you know.
Maybe we shouldn't record in the morning anymore.
We shouldn't record in the morning when I'm like 3 cups of coffee and half a bottle of Mountain Dew in after being up for like half the night.
Oh my god.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm upset this is going to be a short episode, but it's going to be a short episode.
yeah, because its total recording is an hour 18, and definitely a bunch of that's like at least 18 is getting trimmed. I mean, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay to have
I mean,
shorter
there's nothing wrong
episodes.
with that.
Yeah.
I always want to say more about the good movies, but I
Yeah.
can't.
See, that's funny because I always want to say more about the bad.
Well, I want to
personality.
say more about the good movies.
Yes. You
But I
want
don't
more
know.
about
I'm
the
sorry.
bad movies. You
okay.
want to.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. I understand.
I
No, but
end up saying a whole lot more about the bad movies because there are a million ways, like there are an infinite number of ways a movie can go wrong,
Yeah.
and I think this one just really pulls it off.
I don't have an ending. I'm sorry.
You'll find one in there.
This is the problem. My brain is poisoned because my very first thought before every rational thought kicks in and says, "No, what? No, why are you thinking this way?" My very first thought is Split, more like shit. But that's not
Oh wait, we didn't ask.
it's not valid. It's not relevant.
The answer
It's
to
not-
this question is obvious
like-
at this point. Is this a Shyamalan win or a Shyamalan?
Oh, I think it's a Shyamalan win.
It's a
Shyamalan
Shyamalan win.
Yeah,
I'm very neutral on it, but I still think it's a Shyamalan win for
Okay,
sure.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
Right answer.
But yeah, no, I gotta hit myself in the head. Can't be thinking that way. We're done with that.
Yeah.
Split, more
Especially
like
when-
banana split, because I enjoy this the way I would enjoy a fine ice cream treat.
Just
Yeah.
kind of fun and silly, but also taking it seriously.
Yeah. And that James McAvoy, he's a little nuts, huh? Because there's peanuts in a banana split.
And there's a problematic showing of mental health.
Yeah. That Anya Taylor-Joy, she's a real strawberries and pineapple.
What? We
We
stopped
need to put something on the Patreon.
We have something on the
finish
Patreon.
that. I need to finish that. Actually, I should ask Amer if she's done with.
We're getting like $2 a
art.
month from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're professionals.
Oh,
This is a
I forgot
profession.
I signed up.
I think what Mark
I
and
forgot about that completely. Oh my god!
Hans.
Wait, hold on.
You forgot about our
podcasters now.
Patreon
We are
patrons?
getting-
How could you?
We are accruing income off of this.
We're professionals.
Actual real world money in there right now.
Like $2, but how much is in the Patreon account? Do you see it? Does it just go to how does this work?
Yeah, how does this work?
Do you
Where
have to,
does
like,
that
cash
money
it
go?
out? Yeah.
I don't know.
It's just going straight
I
to
have
Mr.
no idea.
Pomplamoose right now, Hans, because
Yeah.
you're not keeping tabs on it.
Hey,
Monsieur
right now
Pamplemousse.
we have $3.04 available to withdraw. How does that work?
Whoa.
I assume do you just like connect?
How
it
many
to
patrons
the
do we
account or
have?
Something? Is there a
That's
minimum
probably-
threshold you need before you can withdraw?
I have no idea.
Gotta
How
be
many
some kind of
patrons do we
minimum
have?
threshold.
Where do you see?
I don't know.
Go to insights. 2 active members.
Nice.
Estimated monthly earnings $2.
Woo!
Now pay off this equipment and this hosting in no time.
Yeah, now we each pay slightly less for the hosting costs.
By $1.
We each pay 75 cents less. After
No,
fees
so
and
we
everything.
have the asset pack up right now, and that has 1 like on it.
Nice.
The Steven See It All asset pack.
Nice.
with all of the garbage that I made in Photoshop with my high school skills. Anyway, sorry. What did you want, Zach?
So funny thing so the other day, so I was at work, but it was like very snowy out. So they're like, hey, we had like a meeting of like everyone in the department, like everyone in Res Ed, like our weekly meeting. And they said like, hey, let's do this remote, like, cause it's like too cold and snowy out and everything. So I was in my apartment, like for this meeting. And I literally get in, it's like me, like one other person, and then like the director of our departments, like my boss's boss. And she's like, oh, you look like you got like a whole like podcasting, like professional podcasting setup there. And I'm just like, oh, haha. And she's just like, do you like have a podcast? And I lied. This is not the no. I was not. I like in that moment. I'm like, I'm 100% not. Oh yeah, Steven See It All. Like that wasn't coming up. I was not having that conversation in a professional setting with my coworkers and supervisors, and that was so. Because up until this point, it's just been a thing I haven't mentioned. But I was like point blank asked to my face, "Do you have a podcast or something?" And I just said
you lied.
no.
No, you can't do that.
I just use it for like talking to friends online. That's true.
Well,
and then
no,
like
don't just
more,
use it for that.
and then more people join, like, you know, that we're doing the meeting, and I get a private message from another one of my coworkers that was not in the room at that time, and she's just like, "Oh, it looks like you've got like a whole podcasting setup there or something." And I'm just like, stop.
You could say I'd rather not talk about it, but
No,
No, you can't say that.
No,
You can't say that to the
That's
director.
a horrible answer.
why?
I just shouldn't have to explain to you why. Oh yeah, I don't want to talk about it. Is the sketchiest answer.
When
you can
when
give.
someone asks you like a very personal question, when someone asks you like, "Oh,
Yeah.
why did you have to go to the doctor yesterday?"
I'd rather
or
not
something,
talk about it.
I'd rather not talk about it.
Yeah.
Why What's your mic set up for? Do you have a podcast? I'd rather not talk about
I'd rather not.
That's
That
not
is
an acceptable
serial
answer.
killer shit. I understand you, Aaron, the priest, do not tell little white lies in the workplace, but I need you to understand that like the rest of the professional world functions on little white lies in the workplace,
No.
especially when it comes to personal life lived outside of work. Have you seen the show Severance? I am splitting. There is work Zach. There is outside of work Zach. They are separated. They are different people. Nary the twain shall meet. But then
You can't just be coy about it.
The show Severance is explicitly about those two meeting.
I haven't seen the show.
Oh, really? Oh. Okay, you can't.
You expect
you
me
can't
to
use
have
that
the
in your
background
analogy
knowledge
if you
and all
don't know
the
what the
references
show
I
is
make,
about,
Hans?
Zach.
You expect me
You
to
can't
actually
do
get
that.
the references I'm making?
Yes.
But I assume the show is about how those two meeting is a bad thing.
No, actually.
It's about
well,
how
in this
trying to
case
make the
it is.
distinction
This
is a
is-
bad thing.
In this case, I'm trying to do a severance.
The show is very anti-Severance.
Well, I'm pro severance right now. I am
Anti-severance.
pro severance when it comes to coworkers and supervisors asking if I have a podcast. I'm not pro severance in any other way. You know what? I'll tell you what I did this weekend. Oh yeah, we hung out. We went to a museum. It was great.
You could
I tell
say.
people all the time. Oh yeah, me and my wife, we watched a movie last night. I'm not hiding my life. I'm not really severance.
No.
I am podcast severance.
No. So when someone says, "Do you have a podcast?" you can say, "It's really
Lie.
just a hobby," and then to move on.
No, you can't, because
Why not?
that invites questions. Because then they
Do
ask
you know
what it's
how
about.
people talk, Aaron? Are you writing Shyamalan
Yes.
dialogue? Have you ever talked to a human being?
Yes.
They
That is
ask
my
all
job.
those
It's to
questions.
talk to human
Very-
beings all day long. That is what I do.
The very next question is always going to be, well, what's it about? And then you're going to have to say, oh, you're going to have to say one
I'd
of two
rather not
things.
talk about
Either,
it.
oh, I talk with my friends about movies,
Yeah.
and they're going to say, oh, because there are a bajillion of those.
Yeah.
Or you're going to say, my friends and I reviewed every single movie that Steven Seagal has ever made, and they're going to be like, why?
Okay.
There's
okay.
no good,
Okay.
there's no end result of that is positive.
None
Yes,
that I
there
like.
are. Yes, there
None
are.
that I
Come
like.
on. Okay. No. Be creative.
Now, well, hold on. I should be clear. My work buddies do know that I make this podcast. They're
I'm not
very
letting-
much aware of
no.
it. They've listened to several episodes. However, I have known these people for, oh my God, like 9 years.
Nice.
We've worked
Wow.
together.
Nice.
It's been a long time that we've worked together. We've been friends for a while. So it's, you know,
My pastor knows I
We
have a
have that kind of
podcast, and he's
relationship.
okay with it because he has a podcast.
Wow. The reveal. Is his
do
related
you ever
to
compare
being...
hardware? Does he have a better mic than you?
No, he does not.
Nice. Is his related to the profession?
Yeah,
Is he
it's
doing a
called
Catholic
Wadi
podcast?
Chirith. They talk about theological topics.
Yeah, see, yeah, that makes sense. But then later that
They
same
ever have you
day,
on as a guest?
I don't think they really have guests, but
but then later that same day, I'm in another meeting in the afternoon, and a third person is like, "Oh, hey Zach, you look like you have like a podcast set up." Like,
I would
Three
take this as you had a chance to dig yourself out
I
of this
am-
hole that you dug by
Who is it? Is
speaking untruths.
who is it? Is it Peter? Is it Paul? Which apostle is it? I 3 times I denied it. Like,
That was Peter.
that was Peter. I was asked 3 times and I denied it 3 times. I understand. But like in the same day, 3 different people like, "Hey, you have a podcast set up or something." I just have to be like,
Yeah.
"Ha ha ha." Does not answer. Ha ha ha. Anyway.
This is why. So I have I have this whole setup here. I have the professional setup, right?
Mm.
At my work desk for calls, I have a pair of Apple EarPods, not AirPods,
Yep,
the
yep.
wired ones
Yep.
that
Uh-huh.
are connected to the headphone jack.
Do you
in the
hold
dock.
the-
talk like you hold it up here
Yeah,
and like
do you
talk
hold
into
the-
it? Like,
No, 'cause you don't
hear
have to
all the
do that.
flaps
I
of the
hate
lips and
that.
you hear all the mouth noises.
It is literally designed to work perfectly here,
Yeah.
not here. I
Yeah.
hate that.
Uh-huh.
No, I don't have to do that. And everybody can hear me at work just fine. And that aids all questions.
Yeah, no, that's the smart thing. That's what in my future, in my setup, that's the goal. Because right now it's just I only have one desktop at home. My goal is that the home office, work computer, play computer, separate.
Yep.
Nary the twain shall meet.
That's the
Severance.
whole.
Severance is good,
I
actually.
can't get up from my desk and walk around and take phone calls. I have to be at the desk. They are wired to the desk. It is very much specifically meant to stay there.
Yeah, no, these are specifically the questions I want to avoid.
Why? Well, first of all, why?
I
We're
shouldn't
having
have
fun
to-
here.
I shouldn't have to say why.
It's a
Aaron,
great time.
so when you work for
Don't
a
be
really
ashamed
big-
of yourself.
It's a university, but it's essentially a really big company. There are a lot of people that work there. If you don't know all of them that well, if I still worked at a Novalon, I would not tell everybody
there's
about
a lot
this project.
of people, and we are ranging from like 18-year-old students to like people who have been in this field for like 40 years, like very respectable people who make important decisions all day.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know which one's worse, but I don't want either to know about the podcast. I don't want the 18-year-old dumb college students to know. I don't want like the very seasoned veteran person that I genuinely hold like deep respect for to know. It's not a conducive arrangement to have that out there. And you can tell because we released this with my full legal name attached to it. You can tell how well I'm trying to hide it.
Yeah, we shouted your full first, middle, and last name multiple times this episode.
Yes. So no, I am not like doing an alter ego, whatever. This is not like, a VTuber thing, but I don't think I need to, Aaron, have you ever watched I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson?
No.
I'm just picturing, there's a quote from that show that I wish I could reference, but like, if you don't specifically get that reference, it's a very weird thing to say. Like, there's references you can make, and even if someone doesn't get it, they understand it's a reference. There's one that I wish I could use more, but it's just like, there's this sketch where he's wearing a dumb hat, and people in his office are making fun of him for wearing a dumb hat, and his boss is just like, Brian, how much did the hat cost? And he says, it is illegal for you to ask me that. And I can't just say that, because that just sounds like a weird thing to say in the workplace. If you haven't watched the show, you don't know that's a reference. But I do.
And then he tried to do this dumb move where he rolled it over in his shoulder, and then it got stuck in the wheelchair, and you can't get grease on it.
But it's one of those moments where it's just like, Zach, do you have a podcast or something? And in my head, my response is just like, it is illegal for you to ask me that.
This works out pretty well. I have managed to steer clear of just like exposing my name online. You Google me in a private browser, you get my LinkedIn page.
Nice.
You get my Twitter feed, which has nothing on it. You get this podcast, and you get my letterbox list.
Nice.
And that's pretty much it.
Perfect.
Oh, you Google me. There's a professional football player with my name.
It is so nice when a more famous person has the same name as you.
Yeah.
That's great.
Oh, Dobie's freaking out. She moved her
a
whole
squirrel or
bed.
something. Hans, are you muted?
I was muted because she was barking.
Fair.
She does that though. Yeah, she like jumps out of her bed and kicks it to the side.
Yeah. Nice.
I need to build I have plans to build like a platform thing that will sit in that window, so she has like a proper bed there that has stairs to go out of it, so she's not jumping onto the floor. But I haven't built it yet. I'm waiting for Dad to finish the shop.
But if someone
When you Google me, you also get a whole bunch of thing about the Shriners, which
But
makes not so great, but still funny.
If someone asks if you have a podcast, you can just say it's more of a hobby.
But that you don't understand. That invites more questions.
No, it doesn't.
If you don't give a definitive answer, you just get more questions.
No.
Yes.
No. You just gotta know how to deliver it. This is the
Aaron,
Shyamalan
do you have a
dialogue.
podcast?
You just gotta know how to... Me?
Aaron, do you have a podcast?
Yeah, it's just kind of a hobby. Hang out with my friends.
What's it
Talk
about?
about movies. It's fun.
You talk about movies? What kind of movies?
Anyway, let's get on to the meeting. Like, that's not... It doesn't need to be...
Well, what kind of movies?
We do like dumb action movies and stuff.
Some action, like Schwarzenegger movies, or
like Jean-Claude Van Damme movies.
I wish. That'd be funny.
well, hold on.
What movies?
If you wish it was more like Jean-Claude Van Damme, then what kind of movies are you watching? They must be terrible.
Yeah, we watched like crappy action movies. Like
but like who? You're being really vague, Aaron.
No,
Why don't you just tell me what kind of movies you review?
Because you're coming at this with like a goal.
Aaron, this is how people talk.
That is not how human beings talk. It is my job to speak to human beings all day. That is what I do. It's human interaction. That is my job. That is not how
I understand
human
that.
being
Your human
speaks.
interaction. You're not as Your job is to speak to people all day.
Yes.
My job, and I think to a certain extent Zach's job, our sort of personal mission is to speak to as few people for as little as possible all day.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, Hans. I'm a professional yapper.
Yeah.
then maybe that's just my
Like
thing.
80% of
So
my job is just.
I know very much how to avoid a conversation, and the key is to not be vague. You be as specific as possible. You do not invite questions.
But let me
Zach
be clear.
is right.
Let me be clear. I talk to a lot of people. Like, I'm a professional yapper. That's all I do.
Mhm.
And I am pretty much like pretty open book in general. I'll be like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
here's what I did this weekend. Here's what I'm interested in. Here's like my favorite movies. Here's my favorite. Here's what's going on. I do not talk about the podcast.
Why not?
Wait, Hans, let's. Aaron failed at his little simulation. Let's do a little simulation. Ask me like, oh Zach, do you have a podcast or something?
Zach, what's up with that mic? Do you have a podcast or something?
Don't ask about it. Don't worry. You don't need to worry about it.
Well,
That's
Why
not
would
what
you
I
worry about
suggested.
It's like the Costa Nostra. It's the Sting of Oz. It's you
this is
don't
not
need to
what
know.
you. This is we're playing in a space outside of what you wanted. This is not
It's
what
the
you
Sting.
said.
Don't ask any questions.
No, that is not what I suggested. I said you can
don't need
answer
to
the
know.
question.
I wouldn't want to implicate you in anything. That's all I'm saying. You wouldn't want to get in an accident or something, you know?
No, this is stupid.
Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, hey, oh.
Hey, oh, hey, this thing of ours, come on.